Have you ever seen atheists and Muslims always go around trying to debunk Christianity with stuff like, if Jesus is God, why does he pray to God? Well, some of these arguments, like the example I just mentioned, are points that presupposes notions such as modalism, and these notions are extremely heretic. So today, you'll be explaining 3 types of these goofy arguments and explaining why they are completely wrong. And by the end of this video, you'll have better ways to refute some of Muslims and atheists' favorite arguments.
And by the way, don't mind Mr. Chipmunk here. He's gonna be joining us in this video because why not? Now, on to the first doctrine. Alright, so we're gonna be starting with heresy number 1, which is what I've just mentioned, modalism. Modalism teaches that God is one in 3 modes. So basically, imagine Clark Kent shifting modes by turning into Superman, or Goku turning into Super Saiyan, or maybe even Kakarot, if you will, but let's just say he's not the same person. Anyways, what is the issue with modalism? Take over, Mr. Chipmunk.
Well, if you analyze Matthew 3:16 through 17, which captures what happened while Jesus was being baptized, the Holy Spirit directly descends from heaven and the Father introduced Jesus by speaking from above. Notice how the Father, Son and Spirit are all depicted as distinct persons here and not just shape-shifting from one mode to another. If modalism was true, Jesus would have to be some sort of mode shifter where he just randomly changes into the Father and Spirit as if he is shifting Super Saiyan transformations. So now every time someone asks you something mouse-like why is Jesus praying to God if he is God, all you have to do is establish that Jesus is praying to the Father, and he doesn't have to be the Father to be God.
Now with modalism out of the picture, we can move on to another false doctrine that we reject, which is partialism. So imagine Goku and Vegeta fusing into Gogeta or Vegito. Goku and Vegeta are each separate parts of the fusion, which depending on the method, meaning depending on whether or not you use the fusion dance or the Patara earrings, Goku and Vegeta makes up either Gogeta or Vegito. That's partialism.
But once again, this is heresy as it presupposes the non-existence of a unity between the Father, Son, and Spirit. To make this notion stand, there's so much you'd have to ignore. John chapter 17 clearly establishes a unity between the Father and Son multiple times to the point where Jesus even teaches the importance of unity just as he's one with the Father, and we even see all 3 persons working collaboratively as one in Revelation 22 verse 16. So if you're willing to ignore all of this just to make partialism stand, then that'd be pretty dishonest and lazy.
Finally, let's talk about what I personally think is the dumbest out of all 3 of them, which is Arianism. Now, all 3 of these hereditary doctrines are probably equally dumb, but that's up to you to decide. Now, pay attention, Muslims and Universalists. Mr. Chipmunk?
Arianism teaches that since Jesus isn't self-existent like the Father and has a beginning unlike the Father, he cannot be God.
And all of this other yappage that I'm too lazy to highlight is taught too, if you will, but this is so delusional that I start tweaking out every time I see this argument because of how ridiculously stupid this is. So, here's the easiest way to address this. Hey bro, is God eternal?
Yes, but Jesus isn't.
Okay, so is he a father eternally?
Yeah, why?
So, if God is eternal and he was a father eternally, it's plausible that he had a son since eternity by necessity. Otherwise, him being a father, which you agree to since eternity, wouldn't make logical sense. So now you just buried yourself under the grave.
Mickey Mouse W.
Nope. Cry, son.
By the way, here's a fun fact. The Ariana got beat up in a debate badly by the Council of Nicaea, who created the Nicene Creed, which is prayed very often in Catholic churches. Remember that every time you forget the significance of the Nicene Creed.
So now that you know about the 3 heretic doctrines that argue against the Trinity, why don't you go ahead and check out me responding to Muslim comments for fun, since I've been talking about them in between each part of the video.
Bye-bye!
Goals?